I can't cancel my trip with my ex because of you." Those were the exact words my wife said to me on our 7th anniversary. I'm Sam Dread Bigot, and I spent 3 hours that evening preparing her favorite meal, garlic butter salmon with roasted asparagus, the dish I made the night I proposed. Candles flickered on our dining table. I'd even bought the bracelet she'd been eyeing for months, the silver one with the tiny compass charm she said reminded her of us finding our way together. Malaina walked through the door at 8:47 p.m., 23 minutes late, her face glowing blue from her phone screen. She didn't notice the roses, didn't smell the food, just kept typing, smiling at something I couldn't see. I handed her the small wrapped box. She opened it without looking at me, murmured, "Thanks," and set it aside like a grocery receipt. That's when she said it. Trevor's trip to Cancun, already paid for, can't cancel, would be rude. "Trevor," I repeated, my voice flat. "Your ex-boyfriend, Trevor." She rolled her eyes. "There are 6 other people going, Sam. Stop being controlling." Something inside me went quiet, dangerously quiet, because I'd heard those words before, 10 years ago, from a woman who destroyed me. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. I didn't fight, didn't raise my voice. I just stood up from the table, looked at the anniversary dinner growing cold, and said 5 words. "Enjoy your trip, Malaina." Her fork stopped halfway to her mouth. She'd been expecting an argument, maybe even wanted one. Something to justify her decision, to make me the villain in whatever story she was telling herself. I walked to our bedroom and started packing. Not frantically, not in anger, with the kind of eerie calm that comes from muscle memory, from having done this before in another lifetime. At 3 a.m., while she slept, I folded my clothes into 2 suitcases. My grandfather's watch, my laptop, the framed photo of my parents. I paused at our wedding picture on the dresser, my hand trembling for just a second before I laid it face down. In the kitchen, I wrote on a notepad, "The house is yours. I'll stay with my brother. Have a safe trip. Suh." Then I did the hardest thing. I twisted off my wedding ring, my grandfather's ring, worn for 62 years of his marriage, and placed it on top of the note. The metal felt warm against my palm one last time. I left before sunrise. My brother Jackson opened his door at 6 a.m., took one look at my suitcases, and stepped aside without questions. Good man. I was unpacking in his guest room when my phone started buzzing. Malaina. 7 calls in 10 minutes. I watched her name light up the screen over and over, each vibration a tiny earthquake. On the 8th call, I answered. Said nothing. Just listened. "Sam?" Her voice was small, confused. "Where are you? Your clothes are gone. She stopped. I heard paper rustling. She'd found the note. "Sam, please, come home. We can talk about this." "How was your sleep?" I asked, my voice unnaturally steady. "What?" "I'm asking because mine was the best I've had in months. No tossing, no wondering if I'm enough, no lying next to someone who'd rather be somewhere else." "You're being dramatic. Have a good trip, Malaina." I hung up and blocked her number. Jackson appeared in the doorway with coffee. "You okay?" I stared at my bare ring finger, at the tan line that would fade in a few weeks. "I will be." I didn't know what happened at the airport until later, but Malaina told me everything when she came back. Every devastating detail. She arrived dragging her suitcase, checking her phone obsessively for messages from me that would never come. Trevor met her at the gate, arms spread wide, that familiar grin she used to love. "There's my girl. Ready for paradise?" She forced a smile. "Hey, so where should we meet the others?" Trevor's expression flickered, just for a heartbeat. "Oh, didn't you check the group chat? Jessica and Ryan got food poisoning. The Hendersons had a work emergency." Malaina's stomach dropped. "So who else is coming?" Trevor put his hand on her shoulder, squeezed gently. "Just us, like old times, right?" She pulled out her phone to text me, then remembered. Blocked. She'd thrown away her lifeline and was just now realizing she was drowning. "Malaina, I need to tell you something," Trevor said, leaning close. "I've been thinking about us a lot, about what we had. This trip, it wasn't really about a group vacation." "Trevor, I'm married." "Are you, though?" He smiled, that manipulative smile she'd forgotten. From what you told me at coffee last month, sounds like he doesn't appreciate you. Not like I did. I planned this whole thing to show you what you're missing. She stood frozen in that airport, finally understanding she'd been played. But her pride wouldn't let her run. Not yet. 4 days. That's how long she lasted in Cancun before catching the first flight home. 4 days of Trevor's increasingly aggressive attempts at romance, of her locked in her hotel room, crying, trying to call me through different numbers I kept blocking. While she was there, I was rebuilding. Jackson's friend Renee came over one evening. She's a widow, lost her husband Daniel 3 years ago, my best friend from college. Since then, we'd become close, platonic, the kind of friendship built on shared grief and mutual respect. "You're doing the right thing," Renee said, handing me a beer on Jackson's back porch. "Don't let someone make you feel like a choice." My therapist said the same thing. 10 years ago, after Bethany. Renee knew the story. My first fiancée, the one who took a girls' trip with her ex 3 months before our wedding. The one who came back different, distant. The one I caught cheating through text messages she'd forgotten to delete. "Bethany broke you," Renee said quietly. "Don't let Malaina finish the job." I touched my ring finger, bare and strange. I thought Malaina was different. I thought I'd finally found someone who would choose me first. "You did," Renee said. "You found yourself." That night, Jackson's wife posted Instagram stories from our barbecue, me laughing, Renee handing me a plate, a group photo, my ringless hand visible in every shot. Malaina saw them all from a Cancun hotel room, her world crumbling. Malaina called Jackson, desperate. I was in the next room and heard everything through the wall. "Jackson, please, I need to talk to Sam. This trip was a horrible mistake. I'm coming home early. I just need... Malaina, maybe you should focus on... Is someone there with him?" Her voice cracked. I heard a woman laugh. I walked into the kitchen where Jackson stood, video call active. Renee was at the stove making her famous pasta, the recipe Daniel used to love. She saw the phone and waved awkwardly, not understanding. Through the screen I could see Malaina's face, makeup smudged, eyes red, hair tangled. She looked destroyed. "Who is that?" she demanded. "That's Renee," Jackson said, uncomfortable. "Look, it's not..." I took the phone from him, looked directly at my wife through the camera. "How's Trevor?" "Sam, please, did he tell you yet? That there was never a group trip? That he manipulated the whole thing to get you alone?" Her silence confirmed everything. "Enjoy paradise, Malaina." I hung up and handed the phone back to Jackson. Renee stopped stirring. "That was harsh." "No," I said, my voice hollow. "Harsh was choosing him over our anniversary. Harsh was making me relive my worst nightmare. This is self-preservation." But my hands were shaking when I said it. Malaina abandoned Trevor at the resort without a word. Just packed her bags while he was at the hotel gym and took a taxi to the airport. The flight home was 7 hours of hell. She told me later she couldn't stop crying, couldn't stop checking her phone. Instagram became her torture device. Jackson's wife kept posting, me at another barbecue, Renee and I cooking together, a group photo with the caption, "Great having everyone together." But the photo that destroyed her was the close-up someone tagged me in, my hand holding a beer, my ring finger bare except for the tan line, that ghost of a promise I'd already buried. She zoomed in on that photo until the pixels blurred, searching for evidence I still cared. Found nothing. The woman next to her on the plane asked if she was okay. Malaina lied, said her father died. It was easier than explaining she'd killed her own marriage. She landed at 11 p.m., took an Uber straight home. The house was dark. She fumbled for her keys, hands shaking with exhaustion and hope. Maybe I'd be there. Maybe we could fix this. Her key slid into the lock, didn't turn. She tried again, again, again. The locks had been changed. She stood on our porch, her porch now, and something inside her finally broke. She slid down the door and called me from a stranger's number. I answered. "Hello? Sam, it's me. I'm home. Please, I can explain everything." "The house is yours," I said, my voice mechanical. "But I needed to get my remaining things. Change the locks temporarily for safety while I was moving. I'll mail you the new keys." "Moving?" She was sobbing now. "Sam, please don't do this." "How was Cancun?" I hung up. Blocked that number too. She didn't know I was sitting in my car 2 blocks away, watching through my rearview mirror as she collapsed against our front door. Didn't know I'd been there for an hour, debating whether to go inside one last time. Didn't know I'd hired the locksmith the same day she left. Not out of spite, but necessity. My therapist had asked one question that changed everything. Are you leaving to punish her, or are you leaving to save yourself? I was saving myself. The next morning, I met with a divorce lawyer. Professional woman, sharp suit, kind eyes. She slid papers across her desk. Irreconcilable differences? She asked. I thought about it, about Bethany and Malaina, about choosing myself for once. Yes. We'll file this week. I signed where she indicated, my hand steady. The same hand that once wore my grandfather's ring, the ring he'd worn for 62 years, the ring that came with a note, "Love is a choice you make every day. Choose wisely, choose faithfully, choose first." I'd chosen. Finally. Malaina sent 47 messages over the next 3 days. I read every one. Please talk to me. I was so wrong. Trevor manipulated everything. I'll do anything. I love you. Sam, please. I'm staying at a hotel. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Please. Each message a knife I wouldn't let cut me. Not again. Not like Bethany, when I'd begged and pleaded and destroyed myself trying to be enough. On the 4th day, I typed a response, deleted it, typed again. Finally, I loved you enough to let you choose. You chose. Now I'm choosing me. I hope Trevor was worth it. Don't contact me again. 3 dots appeared immediately. She was typing frantically. He wasn't! I never touched him! I left after 1 day! Please! I blocked her number before I could read more, then blocked her on Instagram, Facebook, email. Digital amputation, swift and complete. Jackson found me that night staring at my grandfather's ring, the one I'd kept in my pocket like a talisman. You okay? No, I admitted. But I will be. She's destroyed, man. Renee said she saw her at the grocery store. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. That's not my problem to fix anymore. But I didn't sleep that night either. She ambushed me in my work parking lot on a Tuesday. I saw her leaning against my car from across the lot and almost turned around, but running wouldn't solve anything. Renee was with me. We'd grabbed lunch, nothing romantic, just 2 friends trying to navigate grief and healing together. She saw Malaina and squeezed my arm. I'll wait in my car. Malaina rushed up the moment Renee left, desperation radiating off her. Sam, please, just 5 minutes. I need you to understand. Understand what? I cut her off. That you prioritized your ex over our marriage? That you made me feel worthless on our anniversary? That you went on a trip with a man who clearly wanted you back? I was confused. I was stupid. But I love you. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You loved the idea of me, the safety of me, but you didn't love me enough to choose me when it mattered. That's not fair. You want to know what I did the day after you left? I stepped closer, letting her see the truth in my eyes. I called my lawyer. The divorce papers are being filed this week. Her face went white. No, Sam, no. It's done, Malaina. We're done. I got in my car and drove away, leaving her standing in an empty parking lot, exactly how she'd left me standing in our empty marriage. What Malaina didn't know, what I didn't tell her in that parking lot, was that her betrayal had reopened the worst wound of my life. Bethany had done the exact same thing 10 years ago. Different beach, same lie. Bethany's girls' trip to Miami. Her ex was just part of the friend group. I didn't want to be controlling, so I said yes. Swallowed my discomfort, trusted her. She came back different, distant, cold. 2 weeks later, I found the messages on her phone. She'd left it unlocked on the bathroom counter. Pages of texts, explicit photos, plans to leave me. She'd slept with her ex the entire trip, was planning to call off our wedding, but didn't know how to tell me. The betrayal didn't just break my heart, it shattered my sense of self-worth. Therapy took 2 years. Building boundaries took longer. I swore I'd never beg someone to choose me again, never make myself small to keep someone who didn't want to stay. When Malaina said those words, I can't cancel my trip with my ex because of you, it wasn't just history repeating. It was my worst nightmare wearing a different face. My therapist had warned me, "You've done the work, Samdred, but until you're tested, you won't know if you've healed." The test came, and I finally chose myself. She found my new apartment somehow, probably asked Jackson's wife, who had a softer heart than her husband. It was raining when she knocked, one of those cold February storms that cuts through everything. I opened the door. She stood there soaked, no umbrella, mascara running, looking like the physical embodiment of regret. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," she said, voice breaking. "I know I broke us. But I'm begging you, please, give me one more chance. I'll spend the rest of my life proving I choose you." For a moment I almost caved, almost pulled her inside, wrapped her in a towel, held her like I used to. Almost. "Malaina," I said quietly, "I don't hate you. I'm not even angry anymore, but I'm tired. Tired of wondering if I'm enough. Tired of being second place." "You were never second." "Yes, I was. You didn't just choose a trip. You chose to make me feel the way she made me feel, and I can't go back to that." I pulled my grandfather's ring from my pocket, held it up so she could see. "This ring survived 62 years of marriage, but it couldn't survive ours. That's not your fault alone, but it's not mine to fix." "I'll do anything," she whispered. "Then do this. Let me go. Find someone you'll choose first, every single time, because I finally found the strength to choose myself." I gently closed the door, heard her collapse against it, sobbing in the rain. I stood on the other side, hand pressed to the wood, tears sliding down my face. But I didn't open it. Not this time.